Okay, just sanity check here. Can everyone see my screen with VS Code and a terminal? Okay, thanks. So back in the, oh, I should just verify. Um, one, two, three. So I think the question is, how do you edit two lines at once like this, I think? Is that the thing that the question is relating to? Yeah, it's more than two lines. As many as you want, right? Okay, so to do that, um, you use a plugin. Um, so this is a totally optional. Um, but back in the day, before there was VS Code, there's this this tool called VIM. I don't know if you guys have seen it before. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to close this and open up this bin folder. Okay. So before, like back in the dawn of, I don't know, something, computers are very old, right? These are really old tools. Back when all we had was terminals. There's this called VI. I think Vim is kind of like VI improved. So you would be editing this straight from the terminal. Uh, so the two major tools in this editor world was VI and Emacs. So this might be more than what you're asking for, but I feel like it's important because there's like this holy war between Vim and Emacs, and I kind of want to do it justice. So I think VI was made by Berkeley, and Emacs might be from MIT. So it's almost like this nerdy East Coast, West Coast thing, and it's a holy war. You either love one and hate the other, or whatever, right? And there's probably a way to do the same thing in Emacs, but when I learned, the person taught me Vim, and I just stuck with Vim. Not to say Vim is better than Emacs, but you can go either way. Okay, so on to VS Code now. VS Code has these plugins. So if you search Vim, they have these key binding or emulators that kind of like allow you to do VI or Emacs within VS Code. So if you search, you can probably find an Emacs one. And yeah, so one big thing is to switch from entering code, like entering text like this, and versus moving the cursor. VI's approaches have this, like, I forgot what it's called, like input mode versus like some other mode, right? And then you press escape to go between the two modes, and I to input between the two modes. Emacs, the way Emacs does it is you're always kind of inputting, and to do some control stuff, you do like control alt and things like that. So there's a different approaches. Emacs doesn't have this idea of mode. You kind of have a lot of hotkeys. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do it in VI, but there's probably an equivalent way of doing it in Emacs. Okay, so first you gotta install the plugin. And then I think after you install the plugin, you have to enable this somewhere. Or maybe not. Maybe once you install it, it's already enabled. Okay. And then, okay, so once you have it and you understand how to do basic things like insert and move around, then you can start doing this other thing. So you do visual mode. So it's Control V, and then you go up and down until you find you basically select the number of lines you want, and then you can either mass replace it, mass substitute it, or mass insert, right? So I'm just going to do capital I. I don't even know if mass insert is the term, and then I start typing, and once I'm done, I just press escape and I go back to normal. So it's not the first thing you learn when you learn VI, but if this is something that interests you, then it might be motivation enough for you to kind of like learn the basics of VI, and then eventually get to a point where this becomes muscle memory, and then you can get to this. And there might be another way of doing it using non-VI type things, but I don't know how to do that. So maybe something like this, but I don't know if it's VI doing it or VS Code doing it at that point. So I hope that's somewhat helpful. And then also one last thing is the people that like this stuff, they really nerd out on it and really geek out. Like, it's super customizable. So you can have, so I stick with the vanilla settings, but if you want, you can change, you can make hotkeys, you can do aliases, and you can do things super fast based on, super customized to your workflow. So generally, like all of computer games, you navigate with A, S, D, and W on your keyboard. What VI optimizes for is typing. So if you've ever taken any kind of keyboarding typing class, your fingers are always on the home row. So A, S, D, F, J, K, L, semicolon. So how you navigate is J, K, I don't even know. It's all muscle memory. So JK is up and down, and then H and L is left and right. So yeah, so that's kind of, it might be an opening a can of worms, but it's really cool once you kind of like, it's a great tool. Like, if you want to learn Emacs or Vim, I'm happy to support that. So I hope that answers the question. in a very long way. Okay. Yeah. Because normally VI you can just do it in the terminal, but but yeah. Like if you've taken 160, I think Dr. Dobry, you kind of SSH into the UH servers, right? Um, and then all you have is the command line. You don't have any like graphical interface, so you're stuck with like Nano or VI, or I think Dr. Dobry likes VI, but yeah, Pico. But all these tools are great for editing. I mean, just editing, but not you don't have as much niceties as VS Code. So I found that all the junior developers on our teams, they just it's easier to just pick up VS Code, and then if you want to add on the VI, like kind of like I'll say like tooling, then you can, but you don't have to. And like say like live share, this kind of tool you'll never be able to do on like your terminal. You could, but it's not going to be as polished as something like this live share. So to blend the best of both worlds, you take VS Code and you stick in a VI emulator or key binding, and then if you like Emacs, you can go Emacs too. Yeah, I can still use the mouse, even though I have this like VI. But if you're in VI, you know, you don't like mouse, right? So even um, you can save your code in, with the normal VI, yeah. And if, I mean, oh, yeah, to copy and paste, yeah, same one. So I'm copy and pasting, same one, yeah, not for most people. Um, and if you wanted to, you can still do VI from the terminal here too. So now you're in strictly VI. Um, but yeah, okay. Yeah, if anyone's interested, happy to support that. But most people shy away from this. The learning curve is steep, and at the end of the day, you can still do what you need to do with plain VS Code. So rather than learning the coding portion and VI, I would suggest learning one separate from the other. But if you can, it's a great tool. So whenever you can pick it up, go for it. Okay. Anything else? All right. Let's move on to Seth's problem with the Bootstrap then. And if anyone, yeah, everyone's free to leave. So if you don't care about VI or Bootstrap, you're free to go. So, um, and yeah, Seth, if you can share your screen, and I kind of have an idea of what you're saying, but when you say containers and stuff, I got kind of jumbled. So it might be easier if you just share your screen. Okay. If you're talking, you're on mute, and I'm gonna. Hmm, Okay. I think your sharing it is coming in slowly for me, and it might help if I stop sharing my screen. So I'm gonna figure out how to stop sharing. Close the chat. Can anyone else see Steph's screen, or is it just my end? Okay, Steph, maybe try. Oh yeah, slow internet. Um, Maybe try stopping the share and share one more time. If it doesn't work, then we'll try without the screen share. Okay, sweet. I can see it. I don't think it's quite 1080p, but it'll be fine for now. Yeah, go for it. What's the issue you're seeing? Hmm, I see. Okay. Okay, that's what you meant by container, not the Docker containers. Okay, that makes sense. Um, all right, so let's. Can you make your web page maximize, uh, or like take up the whole screen? And then if you right click, or for your web inspector, um, can you dock it to the bottom? It's just easier to see for me sometimes when it's on the bottom. Uh, yeah, sorry. And then close the bottom pane that we don't need. Okay, so in the console, I just want to make sure there's no errors that's popping up while loading Bootstrap. So on the console tab, and then maybe refresh your code, refresh the page, just in sanity check. All right, and then let's check the network tab. Make sure that it's pulling in Bootstrap. It looks like it is. Um, I can't make out the text, but I'm assuming that the line you're on is the Bootstrap. And that looked like it's good. Okay, and now let's take a look at your code then. Um, Footer dev. If you scroll up, okay. Uh, so this is where like live show. Yeah. So this is where it's fine. This is where live share will be good. But maybe we can do that later. But I can actually see the your code actually in front of me, and I can start typing it in. If this gets too tedious, maybe we'll jump to the live share route. But for now, maybe just the audio would be okay. Um, can you um, comment out the body tag? So I think it's exclamation mark in between the less than and the B of the body tag. Line 13, line 13, between the less than character and the B, put in dollars, exclamation mark, dash, dash. Yeah, put that, but it between the less than sign and the B. Yeah, and then at the end of the body tag, I forgot how to, I think it's just dash dash. So on line 91, I think, between the Y and the greater than sign, put dash dash. Okay, and then take that code that you copied in and put it outside of the body tag. Yeah, the Bootstrap one with the container. Take that code, just to make sure nothing from the existing code is conflicting with the Bootstrap example code. Okay, let's give that a shot. If it doesn't work, we can put body tags around that piece of code. Yeah. Let's put body around it, and then in a bit, maybe I'll start doing it on my end. Okay. Let's refresh the page and see if that helps any. All right. So can you put into chat that head, the text that you're including that you're using to include the Bootstrap, and I'll take that and do it on my end. Yeah, all of that, all of everything in your head, as much as you can, and then I'm gonna. Let's try use this chat in this main room. Uh, in the top right hand corner, there should be like a quotation dialog box. Let me. I'll share my screen and then. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay. Um, you mean React.js? Is that what you're referring to? So Bootstrap is from an error slightly before React. So React is a whole is like building an application on the browser. It's a framework for building an application. Bootstrap is more for styling an application. It's a framework for styling an application. It's really just the user interface parts. But like React and Vue.js, it handles like um, data, talking to your backend, whereas Bootstrap doesn't do that type of stuff. Yeah, more visual. Yeah, more visual and buttons and things. Yeah, lining up. Um, okay. And then, all right. So, are you able to see my screen? All right. Yeah, you can stop. I think I understand the issue. And then it might be less irritating if I stop telling you where to click and stuff. But I think this is to share. Is that? Okay, sorry, having issues. I'm gonna jump back on. Okay. Uh, can you hear me and can you see my screen? Okay. So HTML. Body. Okay. Don't need this. Okay. Open index. Oh, crap. Where'd it go? Sorry. Oh. Okay. So the right side is the page. The left side is the code. Uh, and then we go to the Bootstrap docs. Where is the doc? Docs. And layout, right? Containers. We want to see. Was it grid? Is it this the one? Alright. So if I get this work, then that should answer your question. Hopefully. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're saying you use some other Bootstrap feature and it works. It's just maybe the grid thing is not working, which is fair. All right. If you're interested, I can try to get grid working. But if you're okay, then I can do it on my own and then just paste the code when I'm done. Um, if that's better for you. Yeah, maybe we'll give it half an hour and then see how it goes. Um, container, row column. That all looks pretty. Does this show anything different? No. See, this course website is actually using Bootstrap, so I'm gonna figure out. Body, gridx, cell. Maybe not. I'm gonna try and find an example because the docs didn't say anything. Um, so I think they have these examples. List groups. This one looks like it might have something. So here's container. Yeah, the container is wrapping around the other stuff. Um, is it not wrapped? I thought it was wrapped. Yeah, the container's outside. Yeah. Well, it's not working for me either. uh, I think I think we might need one of these breakpoint things. Give that a shot. Or actually, can I just copy this thing? How do I edit as HTML? Okay. Let's try this. And see if that does anything different. Yeah, something else. And they use main. I don't know. Is that a thing now? Let's try main. Nope. But let's confirm what you said also. This should be a relatively simple thing. This should show up pretty easily without too much finagling. And if that doesn't show up, then I think we're gonna take another look at the input. So yeah. So I'm gonna focus. This script tag. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I thought it would error out if it didn't download properly, but I guess, oh, it did. Yeah, it was downloaded incorrectly. Um, so let's just use this. So one thing is, there's no, are you able to see line 5 pretty clearly, the actual characters here? Okay. Oh, dang, I should have made everything bigger from the beginning. How about now? Okay, so over here, um, the script tag needs to end with an ending caret. Um, so I think this part needed to end like that. But rather than, let's just make sure it works first, and that is the issue. So I'll comment that portion out. Okay, so it does work. You see the columns. So yeah. So these two are good. I'm going to post that back in the chat. And let's just see if we can get the old ones working. So this should break. And if we fix these tags, then everything should work. This bottom one looks good. I don't have a main.js, so I'm going to comment this out. and I don't have styles. But there's this script that's breaking it. It shouldn't matter that it's on separate lines. What's different between these two lines? They look identical. Maybe it's the first line. And my comments looks weird now. Oh, this one needs an ending quotation. Okay. Okay, the world kind of makes sense now. So I want to get this back to the way you had it. I think you did it this way. And that should continue to work. Okay, so I guess two things. One was this quotation mark, and the other was this ending angled bracket. Let's see if you even need this first line. Okay, so you do need this first line. You need the CSS portion. And then I'll add these in. So that doesn't affect it if it's not there. Okay, so I think those are the issues. Maybe on your screen share it was red, and then I completely didn't see it because it was a little pixelated when it came through. So that was my bad. And I'm gonna copy this code into the chat in case you want it. Oh, yeah, let me point you. Sorry, what was that? Yeah, the link. So line 3, right? So it's in the chat. You can copy and paste that, but it came from here. So I guess they decided to split up the CSS stuff, or you have to. I guess they need it to be separate. Bootstrap has CSS and JavaScript, so you needed both in order for it to kind of show up the way you expect it to show up. Yeah. Yep. You took the second link. Yeah. Yeah. So you took this one, but I guess you do need both. Like I guess some people has their own styling, so they don't need Bootstrap styling. But if we're not providing our own styling, then we need to use both. Cool. Glad we got to the bottom. Anyone else have, or do you have any other kind of like lingering thoughts on it? Yeah. 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 That's cool. Um, that is the hardest part, getting that first initial thing to work. So hopefully that sets you on the right track. Mm-hmm. Uh, let me take let me take a look. jQuery, you said. Uh, Sonic. Yeah. Let me just double check here. Yeah, one or two is good. Um, if between the two you can kind of like hit most of these, like just a one from each group, you know, that would be good. Just so you have some experience using it. Um, I think one or two, like you said, is okay. But I think to get the main benefit of the assignments, to like just get a sampling of these groups of actions you can take with jQuery. Yeah, uh, yeah. I think one or two, like you said, is fine. It might just be on your side, on your own. You can decide. You can give it a little bit more. Play with the other things a little bit more. Was this in the assignment? Did I forget already? Did the Bootstrap assignment talk about navbar and layouts, or did it not? Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. And this is outdated already. These links, they're like Bootstrap 4, and it's like Bootstrap 5 apparently now. Okay. Yeah. Yep. My pleasure. Um, does anyone else have anything? Yeah. You're coming in soft though. Slightly better. About the same. You just have to strain your voice maybe. Oh, there, that's much better. But at first, if you kind of like relax your voice, it kind of gets soft. But okay, yeah, I think we're good. No worries. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me stop sharing mine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice. Hmm. So it's trying to say on line one of index.js and on line, yeah. Uh, what was the other line? 37 or 32? What does that look like? Ah, okay. Okay. So what that probably means is saying that the dollar sign is not defined, and you're using the dollar sign right there, yeah, on line one. So jQuery is so popular that they decided to shorten jQuery to just a dollar sign. So jQuery, like the dollar sign is like an alias to jQuery because they're so popular they were able to do that. Um, so what usually is because the page has not loaded the jQuery library up yet, so it doesn't know that that dollar sign is supposed to mean jQuery. So it might be the order in which you have the loading. So that would be the first thing I'll look at. So where is okay? So you're loading jQuery at the bottom, and then 140 you're loading it after, so that should work. Was there another like index.js up top? Yeah, so that line 10, you might need to maybe comment that out so then you're only using, yeah, sweet. It's nice when it's not too complicated. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think what you did is right. Can you go back to the page? Or yeah, or yeah, so refresh. So nothing happens until you click that button, right? Right. So if you go to your code, oh, it'll keep on updating. If you don't click it, it won't update. Okay. So if you go to your, so that's perfect. So if you go to your code, um, the line 3 of your index.js. So the first portion was the $ parentheses button. So that is you selecting the button, or right, right. So that's exactly what the assignment is saying. The first part is just selecting button, and then you kind of skip to the third part where you just took some action, right? You change the text in the button, right? So that's line 3. Line 4, it's the same thing, but this time you're actually doing the middle part. So you have the $button. Sorry, what was that? Yes, I would say um, like you selected the button, and then the on is you're waiting for something to happen, which is the click event, right? And then when the click event happens, it calls this function. So that's the second part of the assignment, right? If you go back to the wording of the assignment, so that's listens for an event to affect the selected element. So it's when the user clicks, the click is the event, and the click is affecting your button, right? And then the third part is the trigger some action, which is what you did in your the date. And then if you show your VS Code again, so that would be line 5, right? That would be. Oh, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. We can fix that part then. How is the text coming out? Like the white box underneath it? Okay. Right. Okay, maybe can you go back to the web page? Maybe I should reword the question here. So if you uh, your website, so if you refresh and don't press the button, right now there's no date time, right? When you click it, the date time shows up. So where in the code is making the date time show up? Oh, because that, yeah. Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. I will try to put that in one place. But that is another way of doing the same thing, right? You selected the button, you gave it a listener, so on click, and then the action is the adding the datetime to the inner HTML. So that's also working. But let's get your line 5 working, since that'll be, yeah, that's what you want, I think, right? Okay. Okay, so what that's doing is saying, line 5 is saying, find all the paragraph tags in the web page and then add or remove the warning tag. So are there paragraphs on this page? So okay. Okay, so we can see this behavior as it is now. If we go back to your web page and let's inspect one of the paragraphs. Yeah, we can look at that. Yeah, so right click on that red, yeah, and then inspect. And there it is, right? So now click your and now click your sorry, what happened? Oh, yeah, click on your button. Did you did it go? Ah, that's strange. Okay, let's try something else. In your code, um, before line 5. Oh, you know what it might be? Yeah, so we'll just do this. Add a new line on line 5 and do that console.log, and then in it put in like clicked or something. And then so we can try this and then we'll try this other thing I just saw after. So go back to your website, click it, and see if that prints out. So it should print out in the console tab of your. Okay. Okay. So okay so that means it's not even calling that function. Um, so I think what was wrong. Let's go back to your code. In line 4, you know how you have to click? I think click needs to be lowercase. Yeah. And then try that again. Yeah. So yeah, it is case sensitive. And then if you look at the red text, and the one we inspected earlier, yeah, you see the warning shows up there. It shows up in all the p tags. So if you keep on clicking it, you'll see the warning go away and come back and go away and come back. But yeah. So it's adding that class to all the p elements, but it's not showing up red because the way you have your CSS is like, I don't care if it has that class. The CSS, the way you have your CSS, it might just be like it's overriding that class. So yeah, so it's like conflicting and overriding each other. So um, yeah, so yeah, that's why it's not showing up red. But the class is working. Your code is working because it's logging the clicked text into your console, and you can see that the class is being added and taken away. Yep, yep, it's toggling it on and off, essentially. Um, though it would be nice to either have everything in paragraphs to go red, right? That's one thing that would make sense, like from a correctness kind of point of view. Um, so that would be like fixing your CSS. So then, if there's a warning, it should always be red. The other approach is in your code. instead of finding all in line 5, instead of finding all paragraphs, if you just want the date time paragraph, so maybe you just select the ID, like, or give the date time a class or an ID, and say just select that, the date time paragraph, and turn the warning on and off there. Yeah. If it's an ID, I think you need a pound in front of it, like a pound sign. Yeah. Yeah. When it's just the letter is the tag. Yeah. So if you right click on the date time, you should see the class coming in and out. Yeah. So that would be more correct, right? You're actually changing the thing, and the thing is actually changing the way you want. You're not changing everything, and like some things change and some things don't. So I think one or two is fine. And then um, if you go back, if you go to the website in the JavaScript exercises, yeah, if you can do, because right now you did toggle class, right? If you can do something else, like maybe, you know, I don't know, fade or show or hide, or something like append to, just like have a good sampling of each category of actions, then I think you you just have a better feel for what jQuery is doing and how it's doing it. Yeah, my pleasure. Anyone else? We're over, but is there something quick? All right. Well, welcome. Um, okay, cool. So I'm gonna stop recording and post the video.